Hello guys, it's Victor again, an outgoing international student in Germany and an incoming international student in the UK. Yeah, that sounds quite funny. And I just have a few days left in Germany and I've been doing some form of stock taking. And this experience I stumbled upon recently and I wish to share. And the experience is how I was barred from opening accounts in certain German banks because of a very funny reason. So let's go straight into the gist about what actually happened. So I arrived Germany in June 2018. My course was meant to start in December of that year, but between June and in October of that year, so between June and October, I was meant to do a German language course. Even though the course I undertook is still taught in English, but the German Educational Exchange Service decided that most international students coming into Germany on scholarships and they have to do some months of German language course to integrate them into the German society, essentially. So I came in June to begin the course, and it was quite nice. The language school assisted us to get accommodation, arrange meetings with the international foreigners office and things like that. So they also helped us to book appointments with banks. So I remember when this lady came in from the language school, we were gathered in the hall and she said they've been able to get appointments for a number of people, but some people have been barred from certain banks. So these banks she was able to get appointments from were the major banks in Germany, like Deutsche Bank, Commerzbank, and there's this other one I can't remember the name. So she was able to get appointments for a number of international students to open their bank accounts. But she wasn't able to get for some, and I was among those who she wasn't able to get for. And there was a funny reason behind it. She said these certain people were barred from opening accounts in these banks, and this is the reason. So what crimes did we commit? What offense prohibits us from opening accounts in these banks? Well, it is just because of our nationality. Yeah, you heard me correctly. We were barred from opening accounts in certain banks in Germany because of our country of origin. She made it clear to us that banks like Deutsche Bank and Commerzbank have blacklisted a number of countries, and Nigeria was one of the countries blacklisted. And these countries were blacklisted because of certain international issues, such as terrorism, international fraud, and drug-related international crimes. So there were certain countries in the Middle East, in Africa, and I think Latin America as well. So I was one of those affected. And I must confess it wasn't a nice experience because I felt that these banks were judging me even without knowing me. You know, it's like I was presumed guilty and without even committing any crime just because I'm from a particular country. And it's true that there are several other banks who do not care about your nationality, and I was able to open accounts with some other banks that do not care about this particular information that Deutsche Bank and the rest were so upset about. But I still felt judged. I felt I was being discriminated against because of my country of origin. The least the bank could have done was to probably do their background investigation or monitor accounts of students from these suspicious countries. So the lesson in this video is about, it's even more than just opening a bank account, but the problem with stereotypes in general. You know, stereotypes are quite dangerous because they prevent us from seeing people for who they are, but we judge them because of pre-existing knowledge about where they come from or about their race. And this is not an isolated incident. You know, I've noticed that when I go into an environment for the first time and introduce myself as a Nigerian, I see the countenance of people's faces change for some reason, probably because of the stereotypes and things they've heard about Nigerians, or probably experiences with Nigerians as well. I must admit that yes, we've come across certain discouraging news about Nigerians misbehaving abroad, getting involved in crime and fraud and things like that. But there are also lots of Nigerians, if not more Nigerians, doing great things in diaspora. So it's a little bit funny that people emphasize on the negatives and forget the positives. I believe there are several wonderful Nigerians, pushing the frontiers, breaking records in different parts of the world. But stereotypes emphasize on negatives and not positive, and that's the problem. And because of that, we presume people, guilty, and leave them to prove themselves innocent. And I'm tired of that. I'm tired of walking on eggshells, for instance, trying not to upset people in order not to confirm their stereotype about where I come from. And another thing is that when they tell you you're different, that, oh, you're from Nigeria, but you're acting differently, you're an outlier, that is by no means a compliment. What this simply means is that they wanted or they expected you to misbehave. But since you're not misbehaving, you are contradicting the stereotype they have about people from your country. And then they're a little bit confused, looking for where to place you, looking for an excuse to justify your non-conformist behavior. So when people tell me, you're an outlier, I'll be like, what do you expect me to do? What were you expecting? That I scam you or I steal from you or sell drugs to you? Is that what you're expecting? And that is just a one-sided story that I'm trying to counter today. There are several millions of Nigerians doing great things there. But just the pockets of crime here and there have come to overshadow what other Nigerians are doing outside. So I think we should not generalize. We should be careful about stereotypes. I have this particular friend that used to send me any negative news coverage he finds about Nigeria. So there was a time I had to just confront him and ask him once and for all, what point are you trying to prove in the first place? He was like, no, it's just sending it to me. It doesn't have any ulterior motive. I was like, this doesn't make sense. So there are several things out there about Nigerians, but you filtered the bad news and decided to just send them to me. So things like that are very common. And it's not even a race thing. It's not just about white and black. It's also, I've seen several African countries doing the same thing to Nigerians. So immediately tell them you're Nigerian, they just put their guards up and this alarm bell starts blaring. Another lesson I'd like to pass across is that Nigerians and Africans in diaspora should be careful about how they behave abroad. Because when you misbehave, the consequence is not just for you alone, but often for those who come after you. So I used to say that every African or every Nigerian is an ambassador, an unofficial ambassador of the country is actually coming from. For instance, if I misbehave in this apartment I'm living, if another black person rents this apartment after I leave, I think the landlady might be very reluctant to rent it out to another black person in the first place because the first black person that came in here misbehaved. But that is a possibility, and that's just the fact. So one person does something wrong, and it's presumed that every other person from that country or from that race have the same issues or the same problems. So the lesson today is that we should try to meet people and experience them before judging them. So we should not prejudge people. We should not let our stereotypes blind us from meeting people and getting the truth about their personality, because stereotypes, as I found out, are dangerous. I've been a victim of that, as I told you in the story, unable to open certain accounts in certain banks because of stereotypes about people from where I come from. That's just it. And it also affected my experiences with some other blacks from still from Africa, but who have negative impressions about people from Nigeria. And then I get to hear things like, "Oh, you're different, you're common," and I'm like, "No, that's actually partially insulting. It means you expect me to misbehave in the first place." Not that I'm not misbehaving, I'm a little bit surprised or shocked. And yeah, so that's it, guys. Me ranting about stereotypes and things like that. So what do you think, guys? What do you think about this issue that I've raised? And leave your comments down below. And yeah, I'll see you next time for a more sharing video about probably scholarships again and studying abroad. I believe this is also relevant because one of the things we have to struggle with while abroad is people from the global south, and if you're in Nigeria, you probably start getting ready for treatments like this. But yeah, I think we should bring this to the consciousness of people, and people might be doing this unknowingly. We need to talk about this a little bit more, and yeah, be careful of stereotypes. That's just the lesson of today. And until next time, guys, see you later.